Hey guys, hope y'all are having a good weekend. I am out running errands. Wanted to pop in and give an update, a weekly update on how homeschool, public school, all the schools are going. Everything's going pretty smoothly. We're starting to run into homework hiccups with our public school third grader. He's starting to realize that his sister's done with all of her schooling and he's stuck doing homework after school, after hours. So he's actually doing so much more time with his schooling than she is. She gets more intensive time practicing whatever skill it is that she's working on that day, or skills that she's working on that day. And he has to go to school from 7:55 in the morning until 3:20 in the afternoon, and then he's not done. He gets to come home and have a 30-minute break and then start in on his homework, which is pretty extensive because he's having a difficult time with math and reading in particular. So we're spending a lot of our evenings not enjoying each other's company, but really having to slog through subjects that he doesn't enjoy, and make him do homework. And he's a kid that loves to be outside and loves doing all the things that 8-year-old little boys like to do. Play with Legos and be creative and explore his surroundings. And he doesn't really get afforded much of that time during the school week because of all the homework that has to be done to try and keep him at a level that is acceptable to his teachers and to the ISD that we live in. That's starting to wear on this mom some. Our 10th grader's still doing great. She's very easygoing and self-contained in terms of her learning. She will probably end up finishing out the school year at her high school for sure, unless something big happens and changes. The third grader, I'm kind of starting to wonder if we should maybe bring him home at the change of the semester. I know that we don't really need to wait until a semester change to make that change. However, I think the time and space to figure out what would work best for him. When he does start homeschooling, it's going to have to be a much more regimented routine and subject. All of his subjects will have to be done every day in a very boundary is movable. He will try to move it and do the least amount of work possible at any given opportunity. And while I don't want him doing busy work where it's really not needed, I also want him to be a successful person in life, and in order for that to happen, he needs to have foundational skills. If he's not learning that because he's doing as little as possible on any given day, if I let him get away with that, that's going to be the nail in the coffin for him educationally. So I guess the remainder of this semester for me, for sure, is going to be spent figuring out exactly which curriculum is going to work best for him, so that when we do decide to bring him home for education, I'm not having to, at the last minute, scramble for what to do for curriculum. Our fifth graders curriculum overall is doing really well. We've been going slow and easy and kind of easing into things, almost unschooling before we kick it into gear and really start doing regular work. I knew that that would not be conducive to our son, the third grader. So that's one of the main reasons why I didn't just pull them both out at the same time, because I knew that the fifth grader needed some time because of her anxiety to really just decompress and rest in a deeper way than he will need. Her personality and her anxiety really just needed that, and it's done amazing things for her to be able to just kind of really just soak it in. I will say this last week she's been kind of sick and we had to skip some days, miss some days of school, and it was kind of nice being able to just be concerned about her well-being and not being concerned about how many days she's going to be missing. Usually this time of year and in the spring we have at least 1 week where we miss the majority of it, thanks to, some illness that will inevitably happen at the change of seasons. And this year it's been amazingly stress-free. It's just been, oh, you're not feeling well, let's get you better, instead of, oh no, you've missed 2 days already. I didn't realize how much stress it was really going to take off to just have her being at home, and us not having to worry about that so much. That's been pretty amazing to see. So that's exciting. I'm enjoying that. Definitely being able to just go at our own pace, because the beautiful thing about homeschool is that today we might miss doing math, but because she's at home and I'm the one in charge of her education, well, if she misses a week of school, we can do 2 lessons a day instead of 1 lesson a day. So just adjust the school year to just keep going. I'm thinking about doing that anyway. I'm thinking about just, in some of our core subjects, just keep doing it through the summer so that we don't have any of that backward sliding of, it's so much more flexible with her being in homeschool that I don't know why we didn't do this sooner. I feel silly for having had them in public school where everything was super regimented and super inflexible in many ways. There's just so many positives to being in charge of her schooling versus being in public school. So overall, this last week has been a wash because she's been sick, but we've gotten about 3 days worth of school done. But that being said, it has been a great week because there hasn't been stress, and we've just been able to focus on getting her better, and that's been really nice. So I guess my biggest problem for the public school kids has been homework for the third grader. It's really sad to watch them have to do homework when the fifth grader is done at lunchtime, but we aren't telling the third grader that because that would just be kind of like rubbing salt in a wound. It just seems kind of mean to point that out to him. So anyway, have a good one.